5 minutes ago, I cheated on you with the waiter. That's what Rachel, my wife of 10 years, said as she raised her champagne glass and clinked it against mine, smiling like she'd just told a dirty joke. The words came out loud. Too loud. Half the restaurant turned. And just when I thought it was some drunk, twisted joke, the damn waiter walked up to our table and said, "Anything else?" I stood up, calmly, pushing back my chair with a screech that cut through the smooth jazz playing overhead. My heart was dead quiet. My eyes locked on his. "Yeah," I said, "your insurance number." And I lunged. Fists. Screams. Rachel yelling my name like I was the one who destroyed something. Plates crashing. Security grabbing my arms. And me, still trying to wrap my head around how I ended up here. On my birthday, in my best suit, bleeding from the lip, staring at the man who touched my wife in a damn restaurant bathroom while I was waiting at the table. But let's rewind. 3 hours earlier, everything was perfect, or at least, I thought it was. We had reservations at Marlowe's, this upscale rooftop place with a view of the city lights, and just enough pretension to make you feel like you made it. Rachel looked stunning, red satin dress, smoky eyes, that walk she used when she wanted people to stare. And they did, especially that waiter. I noticed the way he lingered by our table. Too friendly, too familiar. At one point, he brought a glass of Prosecco she didn't order and whispered something in her ear. She laughed. She actually laughed. Then she started acting different. Loose. Reckless. Her hand was on my thigh one moment, and the next, she was glancing over her shoulder like I wasn't even there. And I kept ignoring it. Why? Because I trusted her. Because for 10 years I believed we were building something. Because I thought we were on the same team. Until she raised that glass. 5 minutes ago, I cheated on you with the waiter. And the sick part? She looked proud of it. Like it was some kind of statement. Like humiliating me in public was something she planned. Maybe it was. I think back now, how she insisted on this place, how she kept checking her phone all day, how she rushed through dinner like she was waiting for a damn cue. It all makes sense in hindsight. They dragged me outside. Rachel followed slowly, heels clicking on the pavement like she had all the time in the world. "Are you insane?" she hissed once the door shut behind us. "You could have gone to jail for that." I turned to her, still trembling with fury. "You cheated on me during dinner, Rachel." She lit a cigarette with a shaky hand. "It was just touching. Not like you haven't ignored me for months." I blinked. That's what she was going with. "This is what you do when you feel ignored," I said. "You crawl into the arms of some waiter like a goddamn discount soap opera?" She looked me straight in the eye and said something I'll never forget. "He made me feel like someone wanted me." "When's the last time you did that?" That's when I realized. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a mistake. It was war. And she fired the first shot that we drove home in silence. No jazz. No small talk. Just the sound of tires against asphalt and the occasional flick of Rachel's cigarette tapping ash out the window like nothing happened. She sat like a statue, legs crossed, lips tight, completely unfazed. I don't know what I expected. Guilt? Shame? A tear maybe? But she wasn't sorry. She was cold. Calculated. Like someone who had already planned what to say, what to feel, and what to destroy. My hands were still trembling on the steering wheel. Not from fear. From rage barely bottled. I kept replaying her words in my head. He made me feel wanted. What about me? What about the nights I stayed up editing her presentations? The dinners I cooked when she worked late? The anniversary she forgot last year, and I still brought flowers? I glanced at her, and for a second, I swear, I didn't even recognize the woman sitting next to me. She spoke first. "So what now? You gonna cry? Move out. Hit me again in your head." Her voice was low, mocking, like she was daring me to break. "No," I replied calmly. "I'm just thinking." She snorted. "That's a first." The tension hit another level. I gripped the wheel harder. We pulled into the driveway. The house looked the same. White porch light, garden lights flickering gently, her potted plants lined up perfectly like little soldiers. But something was different. It didn't feel like home anymore. Inside, she kicked off her heels like she always did, tossed her purse on the couch, and headed straight for the kitchen. Opened the fridge. Wine. Of course. I followed. "So who is he?" She poured herself a glass, ignoring the question. "Rachel," I said again, sharper. "Who is he?" She finally turned, sipping her drink slowly. "A nobody. Name's Cole. He's 24. And his hands? way more alive than anything I've felt in this house in years. I nearly laughed from disbelief. You're comparing our marriage to a 5-minute grope in a restaurant bathroom. She shrugged. At least it felt real. That word again, real. Like everything I gave her was fake. Like the years meant nothing. I walked out of the kitchen before I did something I'd regret. My heart was beating out of rhythm, rage pulsing behind my eyes. I locked myself in the guest room, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at the wall like it had answers. That night, I didn't sleep. I listened. I listened to her walking around barefoot upstairs like it was just another night. I heard the TV come on, some late-night trashy comedy show she loved. I heard her laugh. Laugh. After detonating our marriage, she was laughing. Around 3 a.m., I went to the bathroom and noticed something strange. Her phone, left carelessly on the counter. Unlocked. That never happened. I know what you're thinking. I had no right to look. But she crossed that line at dinner. So I picked it up. And that's when I found them. Photos. Messages. Voice notes. Not just from Cole. There were 3 other names. Marcus. Dean. Tyler. Some of them dated back 6 months. Some of the messages were recent. One even said, "Tonight's the night. You better make it memorable, waiter boy." She planned it. The dress. The dinner. The location. It wasn't spontaneous. It was a stage. And I was the fool sitting front row. I set the phone down, slowly. My reflection in the mirror looked back at me like a stranger. Eyes bloodshot. Face pale. That's when I knew. This wasn't about one mistake. This was war. And I just got drafted into it without a weapon. Tomorrow, I'd confront her. But tonight, I let the betrayal sink in, and it hurt worse than anything I'd ever known. Morning hit like a slap. Sunlight bled through the blinds, too bright, too aggressive. I hadn't slept a minute. My mind was on a loop. Rachel's smirk, the waiter's smug face, the messages from the other men. All of it playing like a twisted movie I couldn't shut off. I walked into the kitchen. She was already there, wearing a silk robe and scrolling through her phone like nothing happened. She didn't even look up. "Sleep well?" she asked, voice laced with venomous calm. I stared at her for a moment. "Tell me about Marcus." Her thumb paused on the screen, then casually flicked again. "Which one's that? You've got that many?" I snapped. She looked up, eyebrows raised. "Relax. He was months ago, before Tyler, and way before your little freakout last night." Something in me cracked right then. Not like glass, more like ice. Slow. Quiet. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just pulled out a chair and sat across from her. I saw the messages, Rachel. She blinked once. No panic. No guilt. Just mild irritation, like I'd forgotten to take out the trash again. "You went through my phone," she said flatly. "You cheated on me." I shot back. "With at least 4 guys. And that's just the ones who left receipts." Rachel leaned back, swirling her coffee. "I don't remember us agreeing to monogamy forever." I actually laughed. A bitter, hollow thing that scraped the back of my throat. "That's called marriage, Rachel." She stood up slowly, walked to the sink, and rinsed her mug like this was a conversation about buying the wrong brand of cereal. "You're acting like a victim." I stood now too. "I am the victim. You humiliated me. In public. You planned it. You enjoyed it." She turned, arms crossed. That same toxic smirk curling her lips. "You want the truth? Fine. I got bored. You work late. You don't touch me anymore. You're predictable. A paycheck. A background character in your own marriage. I needed to feel alive again." Alive? And the way to do that was to screw a waiter during dinner? I asked. My voice was shaking, but not from fear. From heartbreak, turning into something darker. "I could have done it behind your back like before," she said with a shrug. "Thought I'd give you a little reality check this time." This time. So she wanted me to hurt. She needed it. I stared at her, really stared. At the woman I once thought I'd grow old with. And all I saw now was someone broken, someone cruel enough to weaponize love for attention. "You're sick," I said, voice low. She stepped forward, closing the gap between us. "No, Mason. I'm awake. You're the one who's been sleepwalking through this marriage. Maybe it's time someone shook you." And then, like some twisted punctuation mark to end her speech, she kissed me. Just like that. As if chaos could be erased by lips and perfume. I didn't kiss back. I stood frozen. Because in that moment, I realized this wasn't love anymore. It was war, and she was playing games I never signed up for. I stepped back. "We're done." Her eyes flickered, something between shock and mockery. "You don't mean that." "I do," I said. And you know what? You're right. You woke me up, but not in the way you think. She crossed her arms, cold again. You going to cry now? Move in with your sister? Write a blog? No, I said quietly, turning toward the hallway. I'm going to burn this to the ground, with receipts. She laughed behind me, but there was tension in it now. She knew I meant it. And for the first time, she looked afraid that I didn't pack a bag. I packed evidence. Every message, every photo, every voicemail. I backed it all up. I sat in my office like I was building a case, not ending a marriage. Flash drives, screenshots, cloud folders. Her secrets, once scattered in whispers, now sat neatly labeled in a folder titled, Goodbye, Rachel. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to burn everything she thought she controlled. That afternoon, I went to see a divorce attorney, Carla Benson. Sharp, ruthless, and exactly the kind of person I needed in my corner. I handed her the flash drive like it was a loaded weapon. Her eyebrows lifted as she clicked through. She sent these voice notes. Yeah, I muttered. She even called one guy her break-from-reality boyfriend. Carla's lips thinned into a grin. She's toast. That night, I didn't go home. I stayed at a hotel downtown. Small, quiet, a place where no one knew my name. I stared at the ceiling until 3 a.m., thinking of how easily Rachel erased 10 years like they meant nothing. Just another chapter she got bored of and set on fire. Around 4, she called. I didn't answer. At 4:15, she texted, So you're running now? At 4:17, typical. At 4:20, you better not touch my name or my accounts. I swear to God, Mason. That last one made me smile. She was scared. Good. The next morning, I returned, not to make peace, but to serve war papers. I walked in with calm, deliberate steps. She was on the couch, wearing leggings and one of my old hoodies, probably expecting some broken version of me to beg or cry. Instead, I tossed the folder on the coffee table. What's this? She asked. Your greatest hits, I replied. And your last night in this house. She opened it. I scanned the first few pages. Her face changed, not red from embarrassment, but white from realizing she underestimated me. You went through everything? Everything, I said. And it's all legally collected. You see, Rachel, I'm done playing the idiot you thought I was. She closed the folder slowly, face neutral. You're not getting the house. I smiled. Actually, I am. You used my salary to renovate it. And the lawyer you laughed at over wine? She found every transaction. She stood up fast. You're bluffing. Test me. We were nose to nose. Her breathing quickened. Not from anger, fear. Why are you doing this? She finally asked, voice cracking slightly. You think this makes you strong? No, I said. It makes me free. Then she did something unexpected. She started crying. Not sobbing. Not breaking down. Just tears rolling quietly, like she hadn't expected this part. Maybe she thought I'd crawl back. Maybe she thought I'd break before she did. But I didn't. I never thought you'd actually leave, she whispered. I thought you'd fight for us. You didn't leave anything to fight for, I said. You burned it. All of it. She reached for my arm. I pulled away like her touch was fire. And maybe it was. You think I'm the villain here, she said. I paused at the doorway. No. I think you're exactly what you wanted to be. Dangerous, selfish, and finally caught. As I stepped out, I heard her whisper one last thing. Don't come back. I didn't respond. Because I wouldn't. She had already made sure of that point 3 days past. 3 days of quiet rooms and loud thoughts. The hotel walls felt cold, sterile, nothing like home, but at least they were honest. No lies in the air. No perfume that used to drive me wild, but now made me sick. Just silence, and the sound of my life rebooting from zero. Then came the knock. I opened the door expecting room service. It was her. Rachel stood there, hair up in a messy bun, oversized sunglasses hiding whatever soul she had left. She wore a trench coat like she was stepping out of some old noir film, like this was her moment to be dramatic. Can we talk? She asked, calm and low. No, I said, starting to close the door. She put her foot in the way. Please, Mason. 5 minutes. I let her in, not because I wanted her back, because I wanted to hear what lie she'd spin next. She paced the small room like it insulted her. This is where you're staying? What do you want? I cut in. She sighed, pulled off her glasses. Her eyes were red, less from crying, more like she hadn't slept. You embarrassed me, she started. I laughed, couldn't help it. You humiliated me in front of an entire restaurant. And now you're mad I fought back. I made a mistake, she said. You made several. Repeatedly. And you planned them. Rachel turned to me, arms crossed, voice rising. You think you're a saint? You think you're innocent in this? You withdrew, Mason. You stopped touching me. Stopped noticing me. I felt invisible. I shook my head slowly. So instead of talking to me, you had 4 guys behind my back? She flinched, not at the word, but at the truth. There was silence. Then she changed tactics. You're really gonna drag this through court? Make me the bad guy, she asked. What does that get you? Peace, I said. She stepped closer. You're not built for revenge. You're built for forgiveness. I know you. No, I said. You knew who I used to be. Before you killed him. That hit her. I saw it. But it didn't stop her from trying one more move. I'm pregnant. The room fell silent. My body froze. I'm 3 weeks late, she said, voice soft now. I haven't taken a test yet, but I know. I stared at her, my chest hollow. Whose is it? I asked, barely breathing. She didn't answer. Her eyes dropped. And that was enough. Get out, I whispered. Mason. Get out. She stood there a moment longer, like she was waiting for me to fold. Like her old tricks still worked. But when she saw I didn't move, didn't even blink, she turned and walked out. This time, I didn't watch her leave. I sat down, heart racing, the weight of her last bomb still hanging in the air. Was she lying? Was she actually pregnant? Was it mine? None of it mattered. Because even if it was my child, I couldn't stay connected to her. Not after this. That night, I emailed Carla, my attorney. Told her to accelerate everything. Freeze joint accounts. Lock down assets. Push the court date up if possible. Rachel had declared war. Now, I was finishing it. And this time, no part of me was looking back. The pregnancy bomb changed everything, but not the way Rachel thought it would. She expected me to panic, to hesitate, maybe even to come crawling back for the sake of a child. Instead, it fueled something darker in me. A hunger for clarity. For justice. For truth. The next morning, I booked a private paternity investigator. Cost me more than a new car, but I didn't care. I needed the truth, not just about the baby, but about everything. Every man. Every betrayal. Every filthy corner of her double life. 2 days later, the PI delivered. She wasn't just sleeping around. She was building lives with other men. Dinners, weekends away, she lied about being with her mother. Even a work retreat in Miami that turned out to be a beachside sex fest with a guy named Tyler, who, apparently, didn't even know she was married. Photos, hotel receipts, GPS logs, social media posts with her tagged under a fake name, Ray Lynn. Like some cheap alter ego from a trashy TV show. I sat in my hotel room that night, scrolling through the folder the PI sent me. Image after image, lie after lie. Rachel smiling in selfies with different men, holding hands in restaurants, laying poolside with her arms around a guy who looked like he belonged in a boy band. And the worst part? She looked happy, genuinely, like she had shed her skin and become someone else. Someone lighter, more free. I wasn't even a shadow in her new world. The next morning, she called again. I answered this time. Hello. She jumped right in. So I took a test. I'm not pregnant. There it was. The lie evaporated just like I knew it would. I didn't say a word. I don't know why I said it. I was scared, she continued. I thought maybe it would snap you out of this insane revenge trip. But it made it worse, didn't it? I let the silence punish her. I didn't want to lose you like this, Mason, she whispered. You lost me a long time ago, Rachel, I said. The night you opened your legs for a waiter during my birthday dinner, to be exact. Her breath hitched on the other end. I'm going public with everything, I said coldly. Your family, your friends, your job. Everyone will know who you are. You wouldn't, she snapped. I already have legal clearance. Carla's prepping the petition. Irreconcilable differences doesn't even scratch the surface. You're destroying me. No, I said. You destroyed yourself. I'm just giving you the mirror. She hung up. Later that day, I met with Carla again. She smiled as I handed over the new evidence. This is going to bury her, she said. Good. That evening, I posted something simple on Facebook. After 10 years of loyalty, I was rewarded with betrayal. To those who knew and said nothing, you're complicit. To those who stood by me, thank you. The truth is coming. No names. No venom. Just a lit fuse. The messages started flooding in. Old friends. Co-workers. Even Rachel's cousin. Turns out, Everybody suspected something. Some even knew. But no one told me. I'd never felt so humiliated. But now I felt in control. Rachel wanted a game. I gave her a reckoning. And it was only just beginning to be by the end of the week. Rachel's kingdom started to crumble. She messaged me again, this time with panic bleeding through every word. You need to take that post down. My boss saw it. They're asking questions. You're ruining my life. I didn't reply. Let it burn. Let the image of her carefully crafted, perfect life dissolve in the same acid she poured over mine. The woman who mocked me, belittled me, cheated without shame. Now she was choking on the smoke of her own fire. It felt good. Too good. I know revenge is supposed to be empty, but for once, I felt something close to peace. Not joy, not triumph, but clarity. Cold, sharp, and clean. The real blow came 3 days later. Carla called. She's getting served tomorrow. I nodded. Make sure it's loud. We timed it perfectly, during her lunch break, at her favorite cafe, the same one where she used to meet one of her lovers. I didn't go myself, but I got a photo. Rachel, sitting outside with her overpriced latte, sunglasses on, scrolling her phone, when the server handed her the envelope. Her face twisted mid-sip, mouth still open, hand shaking. That photo? I saved it. Not out of spite, but as proof. Proof that karma does exist. You just have to be patient enough to watch her walk in wearing heels and pretending she's better than you. Hours later, she showed up at my hotel again. Banged on the door like a cop. Mason, open the damn door. I didn't move. More banging. I know you're in there. You coward. I almost laughed. Coward? I was the one who stayed loyal. Who stayed quiet. Who tried to fix what was broken while she was out screwing strangers like it was therapy. After 15 minutes, the banging stopped. But she left a note, slid under the door. If you do this, I swear I will make you regret it. I will ruin you right back. There it was. Her final card. Threats. No apology. No remorse. Just ego and venom. I didn't answer, but I made sure to forward that note to Carla. Because now, we had proof of harassment. The next day, I visited her mother. Not out of revenge. Just to make sure the truth got to the people who deserved to know. Her mom, Linda, always liked me. She cried when we got married. Sent us soup when I got sick. A good woman. She opened the door, eyes tired. I know why you're here, she said before I could even speak. I didn't want you to hear it from Facebook. Linda sighed, let me in. Rachel told me, some version. But I never believed her anymore. I handed her the folder. She didn't cry. She just nodded slowly as she flipped through it. I'm sorry, she said quietly. This isn't your fault. I don't know what she's become. She made her choices, I said. Now she gets to live with them. Linda put the folder down and took my hand. Whatever happens, you'll rise. You're not the broken one. I left that house feeling lighter. For the first time in weeks, someone saw me, not just the wreckage. Rachel could lie, spin, scream, but now the world had the truth. And that truth had power. My next move? Finish this. Finalize the divorce. Reclaim what was mine. And start rebuilding, without her shadow hanging over my future. Rachel thought she'd turn me into a victim. She didn't realize she'd created a survivor. The court date came quicker than expected. Rachel showed up in all black, like she was attending a funeral, maybe ours. Or maybe her own, because everything she built on lies was about to be buried. She sat across from me in the courtroom, arms folded, chin lifted like she still had some pride left to cling to. But her eyes, they flickered. Fear? Regret? Who knows? Carla, my attorney, didn't flinch once. She laid out everything. Calm, precise, lethal. A decade of devotion on my side. Months of betrayal on hers. The evidence spoke louder than either of us ever could. Rachel tried to twist the narrative, claimed emotional neglect, lack of intimacy, the usual performance. But the texts, the photos, the timing, it all told a different story. One where she was the author and the villain. The judge didn't need long. I got the house. She kept her car. We split nothing else. She asked to speak to me outside when it ended. For closure, she said. I agreed, out of curiosity more than compassion. She stood by the courthouse steps, arms wrapped around herself like the cold was finally getting to her. I didn't think you'd go this far, she whispered. You didn't think I'd finally wake up. She looked down. I wasn't always like this. I didn't reply. I just waited. She sighed. You were safe. But I wanted fire. Stupid, right? I raised an eyebrow. So you burned the whole damn forest down? Her eyes welled up, but I didn't feel sorry. Not anymore. Was any of it real, Rachel? I asked. She hesitated. In the beginning, yeah? But somewhere along the way, I stopped being your person and started being your routine. Then you should have left, I said. Instead, you turned me into your punchline. I was angry, lonely. So you turned into someone unrecognizable. She reached into her bag, pulled out a small photo. Us, from our honeymoon. Before things got complicated. Before masks, lies, and midnight affairs. I used to love this version of us, she said, holding it out. I didn't take it. That version died the night you whispered in my ear that you cheated, and smiled while doing it. She nodded. I deserve that. Yes, I said. You do. And with that, I turned and walked away. No last hug. No tearful goodbye. No looking back. That chapter was closed. And for the first time in years, I felt light. 2 months passed. The house was quiet, peaceful. I got rid of the bed we shared, painted the walls, even got a dog, Rocky, a rescue with the same trust issues I had. I started seeing a therapist, not to heal from her, but to understand why I stayed so long, why I ignored the signs, why I let her dim my light. Turns out, sometimes we love people not for who they are, but for the potential we imagine in them. And sometimes, that potential was never real to begin with. I also reconnected with people I'd pushed away. Friends, family, myself. One night, I sat on the back porch with a drink, Rocky at my feet, staring at the sky. No phone, no chaos, just quiet. And I smiled. Not because I'd won, but because I survived. If I could leave a message for any man out there reading this, it'd be this. Never let someone make you feel small in the name of love. Never stay where respect is dead. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them. The first time. Because peace is worth more than pretending. And starting over isn't the end. It's the beginning.